All right. So I am Melody Govig, National Executive Director, and I'm super excited to be with you guys tonight. So tonight we're going to talk about how to enjoy all things summer while running a successful business. And so I first want to tell you, I know we kind of been chit-chatting. I can't just sit still and stare at y'all. I have to talk. So, but I want to tell you that I am so proud of you guys for coming back. And so even if you missed last week, the replay is on the Facebook page. You can go and check that out. And I'm proud of you for taking time out of your evening. I know that summer nights are busy. We've got lots going on, but you took the time to be here tonight, and your business is going to blossom because of it. And so everything that you do right now is going to affect your business for the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. So what you're doing today in your business and being here on this call, you guys, you are impacting your September. So if you want to have an abundant fall and you want to really impact the holiday season, this is the time to do it. So kudos to all of you guys for being here. And so remember that just showing up to the training is only half of it. Implementing what you learn is the other half of it. So taking what you learn on these calls and then, putting it into practice. So I encourage you to take notes tonight. And so take notes, and then at the end of the call, before you go to bed tonight, go back through your notes and find 3 things that you want to implement in your business, and then make it a point to do one of those immediately. So in the next 24 to 48 hours, find that one thing. If I was to do this one thing, that would affect my business in a positive way. And that's what I encourage you to do. And then from there, once you kind of get that one thing going, then go and find another thing, and then another thing, and so on and so forth. And if you do that each week, you find those 3 nuggets from each of the calls, imagine how much better your business is going to be. So I want to ask, how many of you have a full-time job outside of Pampered Chef? Or if you don't now, how many of you have ever worked a job outside of Pampered Chef? I would say probably everybody, right? At some time or another, you've worked a job. Now, imagine that you went into your boss tomorrow morning and you said, you know what? I've decided I'm going to take June, July, and August off. I'm just not going to work this summer. I'm just going to stay home and eat bonbons and go play in the sand or whatever. Do you think that you would still have a job come September? Probably not, unless you're a teacher. So, but even teachers work hard all year round, right? The planning and stuff going into it. But so think about that. Our Pampered Chef business is the same thing, because if you decide to take the summer off, you're really going to struggle to get your business going in September and going into the fall, because what you're doing now is going to affect your business for the next 90 days, just like I said a few minutes ago. So you want to be working your business now. And so I encourage you to keep a steady pace this summer. Even if you're thinking that you don't want to work as hard, but you want to keep your business growing, stay steady all summer long. And I promise you, if you get some really good systems in place, you will be able to keep a thriving business all summer long and then be ready for the abundance of the fall. Now, how many of you have a garden? My allergies, you guys, are driving me crazy, and I have to keep like clearing my throat. It's driving me crazy. But okay, so this is the thing about a garden.
A nice breeze.
Oh, I was like, so this is the thing about a garden. I planted flowers around our chicken coop, and I look out there, and right now my flowers are looking about like this, and they're just green. Now, if I was to pour something on, I don't know, Miracle Grow on them, maybe it would help a little bit, but it's still, they take time to grow, right? Same thing for your business. As you're working, being consistent in your business, you may not see the results today. You may not see all of your results tomorrow, but I promise you, if you stay consistent in your business all summer long, then you are going to see the fruits of your labor. And so continue to work. And so first, I want you to think about what you're doing in the next 3 months. So June, July, and August. And I want you to write down everything you can think of that you have going on this summer. Where are you going to be? Right? And so jot those down right now. So make a list. Are you going on vacation? Do you have any barbecues planned? Are you going camping? Do you have any graduations? I know most graduations are done, but maybe you have some coming. Any weddings? I know our cousin just got married this past weekend. Anybody going to the beach? Anybody going to the pool or the lake? Or will you be hanging out at home with the kiddos? Or maybe just, if you're an empty nester, maybe you're just going to be hanging out, just enjoying just the peace and quiet. So tonight I'm going to be talking about two sides. I want to talk about how to work your business this summer at home, and then how to get business while you're out living your life. So most of us are, a lot of the bans, like the, restrictions have been lifted. So there's a lot of us that are out and about now. You're going to be going out in places. And so depending on where you are. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, about how to get back to that. So remember, business is flexible, not optional. And you're going to hear that a few times. Am I freezing? I saw somebody saying freezing. Okay. All right. Sometimes in my office, my internet will go in and out. And so, because we live out in the country. And so if I am, then somebody can unmute and tell me like, Melody, you're freezing. So, okay. So business is flexible, not optional. You can have a lot of fun this summer and still keep your business steady. So first, you want to focus on the key areas of your business. Bookings, like we talked about last week, is always going to be your priority. Even national executive directors have to keep bookings at the forefront because our personal business always comes first. So no matter what level of the business, bookings is always going to be your number one. Next, host coaching. And you have to prioritize host coaching to make sure, especially if you're doing virtual parties, that you're doing that host coaching every day. And if you're doing cooking shows, make sure that you have a good system in place for when you're going to do that host coaching. And recruiting. So we want to be sharing the business from our heart all year round. There's lots of people that are looking for summer income. And so now is a great time to share. So use the tools that you learned last week to send booking messages, and then track your business activities so that all the things don't have to be in your head. If you're relying on yourself to remember those things, you won't. So have a system for tracking. This can be something really simple. Just get a spiral bound notebook and jot down as you're talking to people. Take notes, Susie Smith, and then have the date, and then what the person said when you talk to them, and then for follow-up. Or you can create a spreadsheet. And so I want to show you a simple spreadsheet, and I'm going to be posting this in the group after the call tonight. And so this one is something that's really simple. It's just a booking and recruit lead tracker. So as you're booking parties, and you can have this for every month, to where you have your party names right here, and then you have the date of their party. So especially if you're doing virtual parties or, whatever, and having those start dates, and then tracking your leads. And so, like I said, you can do this with just a piece of paper, or you can do it on a spreadsheet, whichever you're more comfortable with. But having this to where you can write down all those booking leads, all those recruit leads, and keeping track of those so that you can go back to them every single month. And so it doesn't have to be complicated sometimes, or sometimes we make things so complicated when it doesn't have to be that way. We want this business to be simple. It's really important to know Pampered Chef is a simple business. Now, it's not always easy, so don't confuse the two, but it is simple. So sometimes we tend to muddle it, but let's keep it simple. And then you'll be able to see how easy it is to just track those and keep up with them. So another thing that I do is put reminders in my phone. So when you're supposed to call Mary Smith to have a party and she says, message me at the beginning of July for a party, then I'll say, I will set in my calendar, I will set a little notification to like a reminder to message Mary Smith for a party on, whatever, July 2nd. So that and look at those. And so as I'm looking at my daily schedule, I see the people that I'm supposed to contact because I've put those, and I make that a consistent habit to put those in my phone for follow-up. So if you want to have fun this summer, create a schedule that works for you and your family. And in my 16 years, I've often had consultants ask me, how will I work with kids at home? Now, 7 years ago, we started homeschooling. We just finished our 7th year of homeschooling. And when I started homeschooling, I had a newborn, a 6-year-old, and an 8-year-old. So I went from having 7 hours a day by myself to work to always having kids at home. And so before that, I had to be strategic in what I would do with 2 young kids at home during the summer. So I want to kind of talk from both angles. So right now, it's the time to start getting your schedule in line to prepare for a thriving summer business. Scheduling is the best thing you can do for your business. Every Sunday, I find an hour when everyone is calm and resting, and I fill out my weekly schedule. And if Sunday doesn't work for you, maybe you can do it on Friday before you leave your office. But I start with the big rock items like kids' activities, church, family commitments, and whatever else we have going on that week. And then I add in appointments, and I have scheduled, anything that I have scheduled for like coaching calls or trainings like this one. I follow that with when I can fit in other business activities, because remember, it's flexible, not optional. And so I schedule when I'm going to work my business. I also schedule when I'm going to do laundry, when I'm going to run errands. And I even schedule what we're going to eat each night for dinner, so I don't have to think about that all the time. And so for me personally, at my level, I work about 25 to 30 hours a week. And so many of those hours are flexible to where I can move them around. So now if you're a director or a consultant, you might be working 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week, whatever you want to invest in your business. So look at your calendar and find when you can work those hours and schedule it on the calendar. And so I know that if I don't plan out my week, everything is chaotic. So I want to share with you guys a calendar that I use. Or I had it pulled up. It's like, where did it go? So I have, here it is. All right. Hold on. One moment, please. I'm pampered, not perfect. I'm not the best with the computer. Hold on. Okay. So, that's not the one, is it? That's the one I had before. Lord. I had it and it's here. Let's see if we can make this work together. Gosh. And all right. I'm going to see if I can get that. I don't know. It's like it goes into a different, I know how to do this. Okay. Maybe not. Hold on, you guys. I'm trying to share the screen. Oh, here we go. All right. So now I can see it, right? Can you see my calendar? Someone nod, April nod. Yes. Okay. So this is my template. And so the reason that I use a template is I want you to think about, in a perfect world, and all the glorious things that you have going on in the summer, you can have a schedule of what you want your idealistic week to look like. Now, this is going to be different for each person, but I show you that this is kind of just a snippet of what I take. And then each week I use this to plan my week based on what I have going on this week. So some of these things change, but notice that there's some things that will stay consistent. Things like host coaching, booking messages. And I also schedule, when I'm going to eat breakfast, when I'm going to eat lunch, when we're going to eat dinner. And so those are important because you want to remember the things that you have on your calendar. And so then I also schedule time to play with my daughter. So I schedule time for different things in my to-do list. I schedule office time. I schedule family time. But then each week taking that template and then using that to plan your week. And so that's really helpful. And so, so a few years, oh, hold on, we had to say goodnight. So good night. So say goodnight. Okay. Okay. Say bye. They're saying goodnight. This is like her routine is every night when I'm on calls, she likes to come and tell everybody goodnight. So, okay, go on. Thank you. Good night. Love you. All right. So a few years ago, after having a shouting match with our oldest child, who is 16 now, I realized that the schedule that we had wasn't working. So I got out my big flip chart and Sharpie markers, and we made a new schedule. And my boys helped to create that schedule, a schedule that worked for all of us. And they got to schedule when they wanted to do their schoolwork. And so this is kind of, outside of summer, but to do their schoolwork. And because just like me, their schoolwork is flexible, but not optional. It's one of the benefits of homeschooling. And so this helps me for my work schedule too, because I can fit my business around their schoolwork. And so even though we're not in school for the summer, I still continue this practice because it's helpful to work with my kids to have set times for things like play dates, shopping, errands. And my boys are teenagers now. And so they have learned that if they want to do anything, it has to be scheduled. And we live by our schedule because it helps us to be accountable to our goals. So once they know that once that schedule is made, we stick to it. And my kids will ask me, they used to ask me, hey, can we go do this? And I'm like, no, it wasn't scheduled. If you want to do that, you have to schedule it, ahead of time. And so they've learned that now that they schedule time to do those fun things. So we can plan things with friends. And during the summer, scheduling work time, but y'all schedule playtime is really important to do both. And I reward them. I've always rewarded them with going to the pool or going to a fun activity by allowing me to get my work done first, because then we can work hard and then play hard. And the trick has worked every summer since they were 2 and 4, and now they're 16 and 14. And so this allows me to schedule work time in the morning during the summer and then have family time and playtime in the afternoon and evening. So another way our schedule has helped us is in my family is by becoming my board of directors. And a few times a year, we actually sit down as a family and schedule why we work our Pampered Chef family business. And we plan something as a family. So a couple of years ago, we planned a Disney cruise, and everyone helped to make the money to earn the vacation. And so, my boys worked in the office that summer to help assemble host packets. They stamped catalogs and paperwork and stuff. They watched Taylor, who was 2 at the time, so that I could work. And now even Taylor helps in my office. And so she helps put together Happy Mail, puts catalogs in envelopes. She stamps the envelopes. So sit down with your board of directors and then reward them with a night out at the movies or a family vacation or something else for them helping you to work your business during the summer. And it's also really important to communicate with your spouse that you need to work in your office. And I found that this, it's a big miscommunication with consultants as they're starting out. And I had to explain to my husband what I needed him to help with so that my business could grow. And so now he works with me. He allows me to schedule once or twice a week so that I can make reach outs and do meetings like this at night. Like you just saw, my daughter came in to tell me goodnight because my husband's taken her to bed. So things like that. So he does dad night and has, story time and does that a couple of nights a week so that I can work my business. And this is what works for my family, but the key is communication between your board of directors, because this is a family business. And the main point is to make sure that your kids are the reason you work and not the excuse of why you don't. So another thing is I'm a morning person. And I get up at 5:30 in the morning to work in my office while my kids sleep. But if you're a night owl, you could schedule time to work late at night, once or twice a week while everyone else sleeps. And so either or, whichever way that you are, that works better for you and, in your brain. So this helps me to think through things that are hard to do when kids are awake, because we all know it's hard to focus with kids in the house. And when you have small ones, you can work during nap time, before they're awake or after they're asleep. I used to have a kid area in my office where Taylor was little. And so even if, that if I needed to get something done while she was around, she had toys to play with. When my boys were little, we had a prize basket. Once a week, we would go to the dollar store and pick out prizes to go into the basket. And then each day that they played quietly while I worked, they got a prize out of the basket. And it only took a couple of times of them not getting a prize to train them. And so these are short periods of time, like maybe 15 or 30 minutes to an hour at most, depending on their age, because how long they can handle. And so now, okay, so for everybody, whether you have kids or not, when you're working, work on income producing activities. So it's really easy to get on Facebook and scroll, but when you're working, set a timer and focus on getting those specific tasks done and stay on task to keep your efficiency up. Because every time that you switch between tasks, your efficiency goes down. So set a timer and only work on setting up shows for the next 20 minutes, or only check and send Facebook messages, like booking messages, or scroll through your virtual parties for the next 20 minutes, looking for leads and commenting, because this is going to help you stay focused on the task at hand. And the more efficient you are with getting those big blocks, those important things done in your business, the more time you're going to have to play later on. And so work hard when you're working and then play hard when you're playing. And so then look at all the summer activities as an opportunity, not an obstacle, and promote party themes. And so, summer is busy, and you might have been hearing that from people, but because people are getting out more, they're out and about. And so
Find this way home.
they are, so there are vacations, camping, outdoor activities, family and friends coming to town. There are, like all those must see, or we must see these as opportunities instead of challenges. And this is a great time to try a cooking party and bring out themes like sip and dip parties on the patio, gather around the grill couples parties, burger bar and shakes, Cold Stone Creamery parties, and kids in the kitchen. So if you would like to learn more about cooking shows and trying out some cooking shows this summer, can tell you that now is the perfect time because people are getting out, and it's a great time to be outside, have an early brunch party or an evening party out on the patio or something. You can check out the Dash training for more info on cooking shows. And there's also a cooking party Facebook group to learn from the best and the masters of all things cooking shows. So I actually did another type of show, was a cook along on Zoom. So just like this, but we did a cook along and prepared a recipe, and I sent them the ingredients ahead of time. And then so we all met on Zoom. Some of the people cooked with me, other people didn't, and they just kind of sat and watched. But it's another great opportunity because it's, the busy summer, you can, get everybody together for 30 minutes, do a quick demo, and then you're in and out. And so then you can go enjoy the rest of the day and the rest of the evening. And for those people that aren't interested in cooking shows, virtual parties are always a perfect solution. And so you can share with them that they can host from anywhere. So when people say they're too busy, say, it only takes a couple minutes a day and you can really do it from anywhere. And so I find that usually will help overcome that objection, letting them know that, in 5 minutes a day, they can earn $100 to $200 in free products. And so That goes for us too, you guys. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can check in on your virtual parties. And so I love that we camp almost every weekend in the summer, and I can get up. So what I do is every weekend, when we're camping, I get up, I get on my computer, I send out my host coaching messages, I send out, any of the booking messages, any of the messages I need, and then I put my computer away for the rest of the day, and I spend time with my family. And so that's the beauty of those virtual parties, is where you can take it with you and you can spend the day with your family without feeling you have to sacrifice, because you still did the important tasks that you needed to get done. And then you're, working hard when you're working and playing hard when you're playing. And so if your hosts, your guests are traveling to see family, and especially like this summer, we're going to see more of that. Lots of people getting to see family again. Have them take a catalog, send them a catalog that they can take with them to share with friends and family when they're out and about. And some other options are some different themes, and you can find these on marketing imagery under the plan a party, is no oven cooking, backyard fun, fresh takes, because those are going to be perfect for virtual parties. Because if you can meet your customers where they're at this summer, letting them know, it's hot, but your kitchen doesn't have to be. You can do no oven cooking, and share those ideas to get them intrigued. Becky Adams always says to the bin rule, talks about a bin rule. If you've ever heard her say that, any of you, she says something that's beneficial, exciting, and new. And so anytime that you can offer that to a host, to get them intrigued in booking a party, to learn something beneficial, exciting, and new. Another, plan around the holidays. Just because we have holidays doesn't mean you can't work around it. This week, focus on the 4th of July, like barbecue and the barbecue needs that people need. June 18th is the cutoff for 4th of July orders. So post that all over social media for sales this week to intrigue your customers and show them how, all the backyard barbecues, the cool and serve trays, the barbecue tools, and all those things that people can use. And so, okay, I feel like I'm like going a mile a minute. I was like, I had all these, like when I go through my notes, I'm afraid that I'm going to, run out of time. And so I'm going really fast. So I'm going to take a breath for just a second, and we're going to switch gears. So hold on. Y'all can see I'm like guzzling water as I'm talking. All right. So the last thing is that once you have the shows booked, host coaching will be critical to keep the parties and make them great. Because with busy summer days, even if phone conversations are hard to fit in, text messages and Facebook messaging and the host coaching on Consultants Corner can help maximize sales. Did you all know that on your parties, you can go into the party page, and there's host coaching right there, and you can send messages and you can send emails right from that page. Okay. So we all know summer can be busy, right? So we've got weddings, barbecues. We talked about this earlier. So, and so I know, like, there's still those graduations. We've got 4th of July coming up. Father's Day is next weekend, and, National Conference in July, and so much more. But instead of shutting down, see these events as opportunities to grow your business. And these next couple of weeks, focus on bulking up on parties to have a strong close to June and push into July. So even though the 4th of July is on a Sunday this year, I still have parties booked for that week, that virtual parties, because I'm sharing that most of what we do in a virtual party happens during the week. So my hosts can enjoy the holiday weekend without missing out on a fun party experience. June is also the perfect time to share the business opportunity. Many teachers find a summer job, and Pampered Chef can be a perfect fit. So you can reach out and say something like this. Hey, Mary, I'm loving the flexibility my Pampered Chef business offers in the summer, and I thought of you. Are you in the market for some extra summer income? Now, when my boys, so this is kind of going back. I feel like I'm backtracking. These are bad notes. Some of my notes are like moved around because I told you I have squirrel brain. When my boys used to play baseball, we were spending 3 and 4 nights a week at the ballpark. And on the week, the nights that they had practice, I used to ask my husband to take Taylor with him so that she could play on the playground and then I could stay at home and work. And if we had a game, I made sure that my schedule, to schedule it on my calendar to be there. So I'm going to take that paragraph and just move that on up there where we talked about scheduling and pretend like that didn't happen. Okay. All right. So now that your schedule is set and you're working from home, and what about when we're out and about enjoying the summer? So we're going to talk about networking. Oh, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Melody, you want me to actually talk to live human beings? Yes, I do. So, and I know, like we've all been in our bubbles this past year and we've had our masks on and, we haven't really had to talk to humans outside of our house in over a year, but I want you to hear me out. So as you're out and about this summer, there will be so many opportunities to meet new leads for your business. And as you meet people, these could be your next customers. So when you go out, wear PC logo wear that you can get from the PC gear. Take a dish using a Pampered Chef product, especially something like that new rectangle cool and serve, or you can always use a rock crock or, all kinds of things. Find a tool that you can take with you to all those barbecues, any potlucks. I don't know. Are people still doing potlucks? I don't even know. That might be a thing of the past. I don't know. But so all those places you go, you can take a dish with you, or at least wear PC logo wear. And so, so when you're at the pool or at the park, start casual conversations and listen for opportunities to share the business. So for instance, if someone is sharing how expensive summer camps are, you could say, I love that my business helps me to pay for those added expenses. Have you ever thought about trying something like Pampered Chef? And if they seem curious or they're interested to know more, you could say, could we set up a time to chat about it? And I can help you see if this would be a good fit for you. So you're not trying to sign them up right there on the spot. You're just starting the conversation and helping them think about it. And consultants who start in the summer can get trained and be prepared to take advantage of the fall selling season. So keep that in mind. Now, I like to talk to people, making small talk to build relationships, and then look for opportunities to bring up Pampered Chef. So like recently, while wearing, I had a Pampered Chef hat, and there was a mom that asked me, do you sell Pampered Chef? And so it gave me a perfect opportunity to share it with her. And so I know that this past year, like I was saying, we've got used to not talking to live people, but this is the perfect time to get out there and build relationships again. And this happened to me at a birthday party a week ago. It was awkward starting conversations because it's like we're out of practice, right? So the more that you practice this summer, the better you're going to be. And so we want to walk through this. So I'm going to give you a scenario, and then I'm going to share with you some ideas of like how you can just build a relationship and how to get to know people. So for this scenario, I had, so like when somebody says, oh, do you sell Pampered Chef? Then you keep it simple. I do. Are you a fan? Or you can say, I do sell Pampered Chef. What's your favorite product? And so, and then let them know, like, I would love to drop a catalog in the mail to you. Can I get your contact info and I'll pop it in the mail in the morning. So last week I was at the bank, and it's a new bank, or new to me. And one of the teller I was working with, the one sitting next to her, overheard me say that I sell Pampered Chef. So she said, she was like, hey, I've got some cookware, and she had some issues with it. We talked through it, kind of talked about it. And then I gave her the information of how to get it taken care of. And so this week, what I'm going to do is I'm going back to the bank. I'm going to take a catalog, and I'm going to invite both of those ladies to my mystery host party that I'm doing at my house in 2 weeks. So I didn't try to pounce on them that very first contact. I started to build a relationship. I helped her out with her needs. The big thing, you guys, is to be open for business. So remember that you are the CEO of your business. And so Executive Director Claire Dolger and I came up with this acronym for CEO, and that is creating enough opportunities. So when you leave your house, you want to carry mini catalogs with you. You want to carry Post-it notes, carry ink pens. A great idea is each week, put 10 recipe cards or 10 mini catalogs or 10, flyers or 10 season's best cookbooks. Get those season's best cookbooks when they're, like they're the old season for a pack of 10 for $6. Get a bunch of those and then have them in your handbag or whatever, so that you're ready to hand them out. And then have recruiting brochures in your car and host packets in your car ready to go, because you never know when you're going to run into somebody. And then try to make it a point to hand out 10 brochures or 10 mini catalogs during the week. So in order to become a master at networking, you first have to be able to listen carefully to others and be mindfully aware of what is going on right here and right now. So we know that people will do business with you when they can answer yes to 3 questions. Can I trust you? Can you help me? And did we make a connection or begin to build a relationship? And so if you are present and you're in the moment, networking becomes very, very easy. It's so easy that really everything you ever wanted to know about networking, you learned in grade school. So in grade school, you wanted to make new friends and expand your circle of influence, right? Networking as an adult is really no different. And so think about it this way. So when you're making new friends, you realize that the fear about meeting new people is in your head. You always start to make friends with people that you knew a little bit or had an acquaintance with, right? So have you ever noticed if you go to a party, you gravitate towards the people that have a mutual acquaintance? And you had to put yourself out there. You had to join a group or introduce yourself to others. You had to be open. After all, if you were open, then others got to see the real, true, and honest you. And people love authenticity. So you made an effort to listen and get to know the person. And you were always genuine when you made an attempt to talk with someone. You were yourself so that they knew you were genuine. And if you remember, whenever you tried to be like someone else, it never really worked out well, right? So you were there for others when they needed you, and you took the effort to reach back out and stay in touch, to invite others to play or to attend a party. So you see how all of that as a child is still the same as an adult? And so networking is all about making new friends, being nice, connecting with others that you meet, finding out how you can get in touch with them again. So everything I just shared is about building relationships, and we are in a relationship business. And when you are out and about enjoying your summer, you're going to be networking and building relationships and building your business, keeping your door open for business while you're building those relationships. So another thing is relationships, you want to build the relationship, but you don't want to rush the relationship. Because when you rush the relationship, it often becomes more about you than the other person. So have you ever known somebody that was like that, they rushed the relationship to find out later that the relationship they thought they had built wasn't very solid? And so we are in a people business. And when you build a solid relationship, you're going to find that they don't cancel on you. They want to help you, and everyone is happy. And when you build a solid relationship, a solid foundation for your network, you make it more about others. And when you do, it always comes back to you. So I want you to think about this. Most of you are probably, as of right now, virtual party consultants, right? Since we've been all locked in our basements for the past year. So as you've been doing these virtual parties, I want you to think about how many of those, virtual party hosts can you really say that you built a relationship with, that you really feel connected to them, right? And that is a difference that you can make. Is as you're building relationships out and about and in your virtual parties all summer long, it's going to help you to grow, because when somebody says, hey, does anybody know a Pampered Chef consultant? Bam, they're going to think of your name because they think of that great connection that you had together. And this is how it starts. So thinking of like, how do you, like, you might be thinking like, that sounds great in theory, but how do I start this thing called a relationship when I have limited time in my day and I can't just go all about like trying to meet people all day long, right? So how do you make new friends, build relationships, make it about others, plan to reconnect with those that you meet along the way? It all starts with one word, and that is hello. So when you're out and about, saying hello to people, you can't afford to be shy. And so, it depends upon your ability to reach out to others and say hello, to approach them. It's as simple as walking up to someone and starting a conversation. Or if you're standing in line, having a conversation with the person in front or behind you. And so we like to establish this with what we call common ground. And so thinking of as you're out and about, let's say if you're at a party or you're at a barbecue this summer, finding common ground, it can be like, oh my gosh, you have two eyes. I have two eyes, right? I'm kidding. But like in all seriousness, things like you can compliment them on their necklace or on their shirt or, on anything about them. You like their hair. Be authentic. So don't say fake compliments, but find something that's nice about them. Or a lot of times I talk about people's accent because I have a funny accent. So anytime I hear people that have a different accent, I will comment and ask, oh, where are you from? And so then it builds connection. And so, and that happened this weekend when we were camping. It was as easy as finding out this family was from Kentucky. I grew up in Kentucky. Wow. Even though we were from completely opposite sides of the state, we were connected because we both came from the same state. Right. And so it's little things like that. And that's how you can build those connections to start the conversation. And then you can even ask questions along the way to keep the conversation going and to find out more about the person that you're talking to. And at some point in the conversation, and it may not be the very first conversation because you're not rushing, but somewhere along the lines, there's going to come the magic words, right? Where you have the opportunity to say, I'm with Pampered Chef. Whether they say, what do you do? Where do you work? Or anything where it comes out, oh, I'm with Pampered Chef. And the powerful thing about common ground is that when you find that you have something in common with someone, the barriers seem to disappear. Any wall of resistance tends to come tumbling down, just like I said about Kentucky. The most important step in networking is to leave the person that you met with a great feeling about you and our company, and to leave them with you ever present in their mind. So one of the easiest ways is by rewarding them with a token of your appreciation. For instance, if you're speaking with someone in a store at the mall and they had given you great customer service, you could say something like, Susie, it was so great to talk with you today. You were so great to help me find a perfect outfit for my party I'm going to this weekend. In my job, customer service is so important, and your customer service was exceptional. I am going to go to your company's corporate website and tell them what a great job you did today. And I'd like to give you one of our current season's best cookbooks as a token of my appreciation. My contact information is on the back of the cookbook. If you jot your information down on this paper, I'll add you to my VIP list and send you additional recipes and cooking tips. Or you could even do a weekly drawing. Say, if you'll write down your information on this paper, I do a weekly drawing from all the people I meet out and about. And so I'd love to connect with you, and good luck winning or something like that. So now that you've learned some new skills to network, so remember that to make sure that you are closing the deal and following up, because your fortune in this business depends upon how or even if you're following up with your networking pipeline. So use the skills that we talked about before and schedule time for those follow-ups. So just kind of like to kind of bring that back around is have those conversations with people. Be willing to just start conversations. And when they say, they say, what do you do? Or they somehow bring it up. Or I like to say sometimes like just something in random conversation of like, oh yeah, like, I'm working, or I have a couple things to do for work today, or just something like that along the lines. And they could say, oh, what do you do? I'm with Pampered Chef. because you're waiting for them to say, oh, I love Pampered Chef, because that's how it always is, right? And that's where you say these magic words. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear that. So, I would love to keep in touch with you and put you into my weekly drawing for people that ask about my business. Do you care if I get your contact information? And then I'll reach back out to you if you win. Because then you can reach back out to them and just say, hey, Susie, it was so great meeting you the other day, and then talk about what you had in common or whatever. And then saying, so, I would love to stay in touch. I've got a VIP group, or offer some kind of service to them. I'd love to send you a recipe or something. And then as you're building the relationship, you're going to look for an opportunity to offer a booking. But I try not to ask the booking right away, because you wouldn't meet somebody and then ask them to marry you right away. So give it a chance, build a relationship, and then ask for the booking down the road. And so I promise you, you'll have a plethora of contacts and lots of business. Plus, if you're doing your job right and on Facebook and you're talking about Pampered Chef and you're wearing Pampered Chef, it will come up in conversation at a time where you can say it when it's appropriate. And so, okay, so review everything that I've covered tonight, and then I will do Q&A. So take time to schedule, to create a schedule that works for you and your family, especially if you have kids at home. And then second, have a meeting with your board of directors, which is your family, and then decide what you can do, like what kind of reward or something that your family chooses. So whether it's, to have a special dinner out, or a movie night or something with all the income you earn this summer. And then look at all the summer activities as an opportunity and not an obstacle, by promoting fun party themes that you can get excited about, and sharing along the way. And then network. So, all right. So I'm going to leave you with this. Write down 10 places that you will be visiting in the next week or two. So think of doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, grocery, post office, the bank, work. So, anywhere that you can think. If you have soccer games, baseball games, date nights, movies, restaurants. And then write down, see if you can come up with 10 people that you're going to see at those places. And then your job is going to be to see what you can learn about each of those people, to where you can somehow come up with different facts about them, to where you can learn to get to know them a little bit better. So be excited and continue working your business all summer long, because remember, it's flexible, not optional. Have fun and use your family as your reason to grow this summer, not your excuse to stay where you are. So, all right. So let's see. And I don't know, April, if you have been monitoring the chat, or if you see any questions.
I have been monitoring the chat, and I think we're pretty good. There was a question above from Ronnie, and Ronnie said she's disabled and she doesn't get out as much. Do you have some suggestions for her?
So, Ronnie, if you are somebody that doesn't get out very much, you can definitely use your networking online. Because Facebook, as we have seen in the past year, that we can really network a lot on Facebook. One thing that I really focus on in my parties is anybody that comments a couple times in the party that's active, I send them a friend request, and you can really build your network that way to get to know people and ask for referrals. So you can share with your friends and family that you love referrals, and offer a gift for every person. Like anytime that somebody refers you to another friend, so you can send them a recipe card, a season's best, or you can even do like an e-cookbook that's online, because that's a great way to kind of just build your network that way. I did see a question also. I hope that helps. And like, if you want more clarification on that, let me know. About what is Miracle Morning. So Miracle Morning is by Hal Elrod. So it's actually a book, and there's also a YouTube video. If you look up Hal Elrod Miracle Morning, it's an awesome program. And yes, and I use numbers. Oh, look, April brought the book out. So yes.
Yeah, and it's a paperback. It's an easy read, great life-changing book.
As you can see, I still do it like every single day. And the reason I do it is kind of like, I share this story a lot about myself. If you don't know, I came up from an abusive alcoholic home is the way I was raised. And so affirmations was life-changing for me, because even now, even though I'm a national, I still get into that negative self-talk to where I still like, it's self-defeating behavior. And so saying affirmations, like strong, powerful affirmations, and how Elrod teaches about that in Miracle Morning, it helps me to stay positive and upbeat, and no matter what comes my way, it's still, I can still keep a smile on my face.
I just have to just jump in, and Melody just shared a lot of great fundamentals about running your Pampered Chef business this summer. And if she shared so much, I really recommend going back and listening to the playback, because this is really just basic fundamental information that will carry you through no matter what level you are, from consultant clear up to national executive director.
So good. Sometimes I think I talk so fast, and so I'm sorry. I get really excited and strong, long-winded. So this is fun. And y'all are like, of course you're muted, but it's super quiet. Any
Does anyone
questions?
else have any questions for Melody before we get off? She was wonderful. Give her a big round of applause, please.
So good. This was super fun. And you guys, I can tell you that, if you just, even if you touch your business 15 minutes a day, all summer long, you will be so rewarded because of it. And so just remember that what you're doing today is going to impact July, August, September, and so on and so forth. And so thank you guys so much for being here. And I hope you all have a fabulous, fabulous evening.
Thank you, Melody.
So bye.
Thank you. Bye.